Okay, WNOV family, this is Will Martin, and you're listening to The Difference, and we have one more time gathered together. It is Friday at 11. The weather is still nice.
Yeah.
It's still nice, right? It's not raining. It's not snowing.
Well, you can tell something is in the air.
Yeah. So it's a little crisp.
Yeah.
It's a little crisp all of a sudden.
Jesus.
Yeah, we went from burning it out to now you got to get a jacket, right?
Shiver me timbers.
I swear. Okay, well, this is just we're getting ready.
Yeah,
right?
for
we're
what's
getting
to
ready
come,
because the real thing is coming, man.
Jesus.
The real thing is coming. Hey, during the break, you said you got some stuff coming up, right?
Yeah, man. I'll be out at the packing house tomorrow with my good friend Joe Jordan. So we live music from 6 to 9.
Okay.
Out at the packing house.
Yeah.
So yeah, a real nice environment.
And where is the packing house?
It's out on Layton. Is that 12th and Layton?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah,
if you go down to the airport.
Yeah, you right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hang a right.
Yeah, hang a right, turn left, and then turn upside down.
There you go.
You right
just
there.
north of, and it's supper club environment in there.
Yeah.
Some very good steaks.
Yeah, very good steaks.
Make sure to bring your wallet.
Yeah, because
you cannot go get a free meal down there. It's what you're gonna get some quality.
Most definitely quality, man.
Yeah.
I had some. I had the steak out there, man, and it was very succulent.
Oh yeah, let me tell you. Oh, look at you. Wait. Look, you could, Byron, you could tell how expensive the meal was. Now we're getting over here like trisyllabic words we're rolling out today.
Well, I've been hanging around Keith for a few months now, so
Well, hey, look. Now make sure Keith's paying for it when you go there.
Right? Because boy, man, that steak, man, it was.
They will have you waddling out of there. I will say,
yeah.
if you eat, you will waddle.
Most definitely.
Wow. So, do you remember when we were having this debate about the MPS and the referendum and the $250 million in new taxes, and people called in, even on the show, people called in like, hey, we got to take care of our kids. We got to take care of a kid. Cool. I believe in taking care of the kids.
Right.
I'm all good.
Right.
I'm just not so sure where that money's going, right?
Yeah.
Well, Byron, I know you cannot get this on the screen. So you just have to take my word for it. But you could look it up yourself, right?
Yeah.
So CBS 58, they put out a story. MPS spent $1.25 million on 20 new vans. Now, okay for the kids, right? Anything for the kids. Okay, so $1.25 million for 20 new vans. Guess what? More than a year later, they still have not been used.
Wait, so what are the vans for?
Help me. So this is MPS bought $1.25 million worth of vans, 20 of them. Still have not used them in a year. So they went and hey, look, anybody can find the story on CBS 58.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is just one example. Again, this is why, sometimes when we are being critical, I'll say for me, I want all our kids to thrive.
Yeah.
I want every one of our kids to be a scholar. They should get the best education that Wisconsin can buy. Absolutely. But what I don't support is when you just got bureaucrats going out here and spending your money like you didn't have to work for it. And again, nobody can simply say, what is going on?
So are these vans used to transport the children to and from school?
Well, apparently that would be a nice thing if it had been. But these are all these white vans that they got. But again, in a year's worth of having them, they have not been used.
Not one time.
They're sitting. And again, CBS 58 says they got the information through an open records request that they made, and they said they had to wait nearly 5 months to get an answer.
So did they say what the purpose was behind the vans?
They did not. But here's the thing. This money, Okay, this is one of these things, and this is the other thing that people have been bringing up is all that COVID money came to town, right? All that COVID money came to town. So this is supposedly part of the $770 million that MPS received in federal aid related to COVID. $770 million.
Wow.
Bought these and here's the thing. Okay, wait. It says the expiration date of those funds meant more than $1 million. Apparently they were, if I don't spend this money in the next couple of months, I lose the money. Okay. So they went out, and apparently 6 months later, MPS had the vans, and we were beginning a pilot with those vehicles in September. Instead, the vans sat around for the entire winter. So, I mean, this is when we're asking questions about what are they really doing? What's the money really for? Do you really need the money? It is not about we don't care about the kids. It's about making sure that we're not all getting hustled, because it makes no sense to be buying 20 vans just so you could say that you didn't have to return $1 million.
Yeah, because that just sounds like wasteful spending.
Thank you. Now I wonder, can we go get a van? Can we go over there and use them?
Well, I'm saying, ask them if we could use it. Man.
Yeah, I'm just
drive
saying.
Around for the weekend.
Well, I'm just thinking. You know what? You get some music, some musical instruments, etc. You could
pack up in there.
Thank you. As long as they're just sitting there, maybe. I could use a low mileage vehicle right about now too.
Right.
So this is the kind of stuff that just burns me up when people were shouting about, and by the way, this is $770 million of additional funds. This is not even that that $250 million tax increase.
So that's extra money.
This is extra money. Okay. So here we go, with this kind of stuff just being wasted.
Wow.
So I don't know, man. It's just frustrating to see the system end up with this kind of money just being, just wasted, right?
Yeah, that's wasteful.
Yeah. So, and we've had series on here, right? We did a series where we had schools come in and talk about some of the brilliant stuff that they're doing. And also, we want people to succeed. We want people to feel good.
Right.
Yeah. So, I just remember everybody being on me, beating me down about like, why are you against the kids? I'm like, not against the kids.
Not against the kids.
Yeah, just against the $1 million being spent for no apparent reason.
So they never said what the vans are being used for.
Mm-mm. It looks like at least what it insinuates is that these vans were obtained simply to make sure they didn't have to turn the $1 million back.
Oh.
Right, because you use it or lose it. Use it or lose it.
Oh.
So, that's I think a huge part of the problem with spending in general is we've got all this government spending and it going out the door. People are not asking enough questions about, is this really necessary? Right? What are you going to do? You are asking more questions right now, man, than apparently these people asked before they spent it.
Yeah, that's wow. Yeah, that's a lot of money to spend, and just to spend it, just so you won't have to give it back.
Yeah. So, Byron,
yes,
you got a child now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. How's life with your child?
Man, it's a process every day. Learning something new every day, a new obstacle almost every day.
And is your child in childcare?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. Have you started to look at what it costs?
Oh, I heard the rumors. I'm trying to figure out how
hey, man,
keep her out of it.
I hate to tell you, I think it might be more than a rumor. You're right. So, so how are you all handling it? How are you figuring out how to take care of your child while you still, getting your work on?
Right now, me and her mother, we just work different shifts.
trading it off.
Yeah, so that's the easiest and most affordable way right now.
Yeah, man.
Daycare, yeah,
It is
daycare like
amazing.
rent.
I'm telling you, man, like a mortgage. Like a mortgage, and I feel for, yeah, obviously you want people who are in the field to get paid, but there's got to be some kind of ability for us to figure out how we can get, maybe we need a daycare center right here. Maybe we need to open our own.
For real.
Yeah. Jermaine, you in on the deal?
Anything to make money, brother. I mean, so I'm in. Count me in.
No, man. Look, I think we got to figure out a way that we can take care of our kids, right?
Yeah.
But in a way that we don't break every family in the process, right? What were they quoting you, man? Would you hear, Byron? How bad it was? Of course, you got a newborn.
Yeah. I done heard people say like $200 a week. So a month, you getting up there $800.
Yeah, right. And so, how affordable is that, man, for families?
Along with other bills, no, that's not affordable at all. Unless you got like child care.
Yeah.
The state.
Through the state. And can you get it?
Nope.
Okay. And why can you not get it?
I think you gotta be I think you gotta receive assistance or child support or something like that. Yeah.
So once again, here you are, you're trying to hustle and do your job, but you can't get some help in the process.
No, sir.
Wow. What would an extra $800,000 a month, do for you?
It will move mountains.
Move. Okay. All right. And this is your first child, right?
Yep.
You got other friends who got kids?
Yes, I do.
Now, and how are they doing?
They hustling, they working it out to try to pay that daycare.
Wow. I don't know how people do it for more than one child.
No, for real.
And do you all have family here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got at least a backup.
Yeah.
If something happens.
But that's how a lot of children end up watching other children.
Yeah, look, you were too young. I was a latchkey kid. I don't know if they got terminology for those kids anymore, but I had a pair of keys. My goal was get to school, get back home, lock the door. And that was the extent of it.
And don't answer for anybody.
Oh man, my grandparents came one time and they knocked on the door. Now you're talking about people who had traveled from another state, knocked on the door, but it was like, hey, you never open the door. Doesn't matter who it is. They had to wait till my parents got home. Mm-hmm. Not opening that door, man. So how else are you all doing this then? How are your friends doing this?
Some of them, they struggling to get by. Some of them, they got a good, partnership with their significant other. So, but either way, that's still expensive. $800 a month or $600, whatever.
Yeah.
Wherever you find, that's still a lot. That's a hefty amount for childcare.
Yeah. What would help you? What would help your friends? What would make that a little easier for you all to be able to? Because we obviously want to make sure your child, their children are safe. What would make it easier for you?
I'm actually not sure. I just know what my little ordeal is. We work different shifts that way, because daycare is not it's not affordable.
Wow, Jermaine, how'd you do it? I mean, you got two. Obviously, they're grown now, but how'd you do it back in the day?
I think times was a little bit different back then. But even though in my situation, man, I had a great support system. So, it was 9 of us.
Wait, how many?
9. I got 5 sisters, 5 girls, and 4 boys.
Whoa!
And we all kicking it.
And y'all weren't living on a farm?
Man, we was living in a nice house. Matter of fact, when this area over here, over by Rufus Kingdom, when it was homeowners,
Yeah.
it was like the middle class area. So we had a nice home over there. 9 of us in one house.
Wow.
And so when I started having my kids, because I was the second one to have a child out of the 9, with my mom and dad and brothers and sisters. So if I didn't have my daughter at that time, then I was able to, bring her over to my mom's house.
Yeah.
They can, help out and things like that. So times now is different from then.
Well, dude, you had your own village. I mean, that's a whole
Yeah.
different thing. If Byron had like 8 more people in his family, he could drop the child off
Be
somewhere.
like, hey, look out for me. I got to do whatever. So that's one thing about me that I was grateful for. I had my loved ones, my family, to actually help me and whatever, guide me through that whole thing of learning how to, be a parent. But it was sometimes that it was tough. But through it all, I was able to make it through, and I take care of my kids and raise them.
Right. And what are you doing now? You got a grandchild.
Yeah, man, I got a grandson. I just picked him up yesterday from school. We had our pizza outing that we normally have, and when I get him, so he's actually in daycare now.
Okay.
So like when he leaves school, they'll pick him up and take him over to the daycare. But when
this is your daughter's child,
yes,
right?
Yes. So when daycare is closed or something is happening, my daughter, mom, and I, that we would work something out.
Yeah.
Even if I got to leave work a little bit early or something to go pick him up. So it's just working together to help her, be successful. And that's what it takes, man. Though it takes a village sometimes, because sometimes you don't have the financial support,
right,
that you need to navigate, through these waters. So, by her having a support system of, people that's able to help out, the only thing I tell her is, you have to let me know so we can make arrangements.
Right.
Because that's very important, is making arrangements so everything will flow smooth.
Man, so okay, but she has childcare,
Yeah.
so she's affording it some kind of way, right?
Yeah.
Right. What would make it easier for her? I mean, it's great that you two are available, right? I mean, that's awesome.
I think that if these prices came down,
yeah, man. So is she getting any assistance with so she's having to just figure out how to do this out of pocket.
Out of pocket, man. So she's, and that was the whole thing, because she was working two jobs.
Oh
first.
Man.
So when that incident happened, back in March,
she
was at work.
Yeah.
So she was working her second job.
So kind of like, let's back this up. So she was, we talked about this on a couple of shows about both your kids, son and your daughter, both adults, both working, both minding their own business. Both of them ended up in really difficult, so she actually was hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
She was actually shot.
She was
shot while she was bartending.
So she actually was shot. Then she had that recovery. She had all that you got to still figure out. And you work in 2 jobs. You obviously can't work them, after getting shot for a while.
Well, yeah. Well, after that incident, I kind of, made her leave that particular job.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're going to do something, do something else. But, yeah, man, it's just, crazy that you got to work like crazy just to stay above water.
Right. And to work the 2 jobs. I mean, and that makes it hard to be able to take care of the kids. And now you're having to lean on parents, folks again, even further. I don't know how parents are doing it who are here by themselves, who don't have, who don't have a network like you. I come, from the South, right? In my case, we had great grandparents. I had like all 4 of my great grandparents alive, grandparents alive, enough cousins to feel. That's why my mama is mayor still down home. Thank you. Thank you. It's enough family members down there to swing elections, right? So, but yeah, I don't know how these families make it up here with these expenses, right? And the rents have gone up double digits.
Ridiculous, man. The rent has went up. I don't know what's going on that is going up so high, and it's hard to, for people to survive out here, man.
Right.
Just to navigate through these times, man. It's just,
No, look, we got to figure out a way, and this is why I think it's kind of related to just wasting money earlier. This stuff that the school's doing, just it seems to me like if we're going to ask people to pay these taxes, we got to ask them for a good reason, right? Because you have to add that on top of everything else you're paying,
exactly. Yeah.
and yet you're not getting any help.
Right. So
Right.
it's almost like you're getting pushed further and further down.
Yeah. So that's where I think, being able to ask the questions about where is this money going? What are you really doing with it? Could we be doing something better with it? Like making sure how old's your grandkid now?
He's 7 years old. He's
7
8
years.
this year.
Okay. So what grades is this his
This is his second year.
second year? Okay. Yeah. But now here he is, he's going from school to a daycare. You would think with this kind of money, why can't we just leave the school open longer?
Right.
And not have to transport the kid at all?
See, but you know what? They used to have those programs,
Right.
man. Like the after school, daycare programs, the after school childcare programs that they had.
They used to talk about lighted schoolhouse that you would be able to have early before school,
Yeah.
later
That is
after
true.
school,
Yeah,
so
I remember
parents
that.
would be able to work
Yeah.
and your kid would still be safe.
So whatever happened to that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like all this money that's coming in because they got Title I money. I don't want to start going down all these other rabbit, but Title I money is for kids to be able to get remedial help, other enrichment, etc., to help kids who are maybe from lower income areas be able to get these services, and that's how they used to be able to do these things. Was and again, I wonder where these priorities have gone because, like we said, all this money that flowed through, how come these aren't open longer
So
to be
let
able
me
to
ask
help
you
these
this, Neil.
families?
Who is responsible?
Really, I'm gonna blame Byron.
Byron? Tighten up.
I just got here.
Wait, that's the point, man. That's the point. Well, and you know what? It's you and I too.
Yeah.
Okay, because here's part of the thing. If we're not going to the school board meetings, okay, if we're not insisting, like these people get elected to the school board, can any of us name somebody on the school board?
I know one of them. Well, actually two of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Daryl Jackson, that's one.
Okay.
And
is he still on there?
I think he's still on the board.
Okay. All right.
And I can't think of my other guy name. I see his face, but I can't think of his name.
Well, part of it is, again, if we're not in these folks' face about what are you spending this money on, like, hey, why can we not have the school open longer?
Right.
Let's prioritize that. Let's make sure the kids are safe. We're not transporting them all over the place, right?
Right.
And then, what is in this budget? Because where is all this money going, right? Well, you asked for $250 million in new money.
So why won't they include that into?
That's my point. Is
like these after school programs that used to be around.
We need to be pushing.
Wow.
Well, we'll talk about it on the backside.
All right.
Hey, WNOV family, we are back. Listening to The Difference with Will Martin, and we started off talking about just some of the money that's been, let's say, not used as well as it could have been at MPS, right? Yeah. And then we were just talking about, well, I think the translation was, whose fault is it that these schools are not necessarily staying open enough for kids like your grandson who have to figure out, like, where else can you have him be, right?
Man, I think the first thing is find out who is responsible and hold them accountable.
Well, so I think, really this is where the community's got to step up. For a lot of these families, and Byron was talking about how challenging it is for a lot of friends they got, where they're hustling. You talked about how your daughter's, she's hustling to make sure she can afford to pay that child care. This is, again, one of these places where if this is a priority for the community, the opportunity is to go directly to the school board to say, look, this is what the community needs, and reprioritize that money instead of wasting it on $1.25 million on 20 vans that are not being used. Right? Instead of wasting it on that, how come we can't make sure that we can leave the schools open longer so that kids have a safe place to be and parents know where they are and don't have to come up out of pocket for further when your kids in second grade and first grade don't need to be trying to jump another a van, bus, something else to get them over to another place when we got a place, right? We just have to prioritize it, right? So now, okay, we're on this roll today about how money's being used, right? How money's being used, and whether or not the community is getting a chance to direct it, right? So we have with us Jamiroquan Kittler, the Black Policy Initiative. I'm getting better about it. Okay. And Cori Houston's here, and she is with Preserve MKE, which is focused on Milwaukee Public Museum.
It is. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. And so another one of these conversations, this is kind of a theme for the day, right? Is like, where's the money going? Right. Where's the money going?
Almost like that Wendy's commercial. Where's the beef?
Where's the
where's the money going?
Right.
Can't afford the beef.
Where's the money?
Hey, and as Byron said, now if you want your kids going to certain after school programs, you got to pay.
Oh yeah.
Right? You got to pay extra for it. So Milwaukee Public Museum, I just looked up the history, and the Public Museum was actually opened in 1882. But it says that it actually predates that it may go back as far as 1851, and that the city of Milwaukee actually was the start of the museum. It went to the county. The county went to, now it's a third-party nonprofit, right?
Right. Manager, steward of those collections. Yes.
Okay, absolutely. But the collections originally started as the people's collections.
Oh, absolutely. Paid for by the people. Yes.
Paid for by the people, collected by the people, maintained by the people.
Reflecting the people's history.
Okay.
In Milwaukee.
All right. So Milwaukee Public Museum is working on the building that they're currently in was built in 1962, 63.
Right.
Okay. I understand they have $100 million of deferred maintenance, they say, in order to stay in that building. And so they've decided to move out of the building. So let's see if we can just kind of go through what is this public museum, what's it do, what's it supposed to do for us. And I know there's a little controversy in here about kind of the approach they're taking.
Sure.
So,
and we can start with what's amazing about the Milwaukee Public Museum. First of all, we should be really proud of our public museum. It's the largest municipal-owned museum in the world, which I don't know that we think about that. It's a huge building. It's a beautiful building. It's built in the brutalist style, so it's a little bit dated in that sense, but it's a very large building. But it's an extraordinarily American
Wait.
museum.
I just want to kind of back up this brutalist style. I know what you're talking about, but let's just break this down.
Well, I can't break it down too far. It's basically that style that's a little more utilitarian. You see it actually in Washington,
just that concrete.
D.C. Yep.
Right. It's just that concrete.
Yeah. So it's a little dated in one sense, but it's a style and it's ours.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful inside. If you've ever been in there, you get lost in all those magical little accidental exhibits. But even looking, of course, the streets of Old Milwaukee, which has been very controversial.
Oh, yes.
And the European Village. But we're also talking about those dioramas and little moments of history that were depicted with such artisanship and such beauty that's what we're talking about. It's an extraordinary museum. It's America's museum. It has the best of what we have to offer.
Okay.
So that's the stage of what we're talking about, is a large museum. Yes, it has some capital issues. It has some serious problems that it needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
What our concern is not trying to challenge that. We can't challenge the experts on that. But what we are challenging is what's the fix for that?
Okay.
So you have an aging, it's only 60 plus years old, but you have an aging building. You have the public was told, in order to save our collections, essentially we had to build a new museum, and that's kind of where the story needs to be picked up a little bit more. So
Jermaine, you hear, like, here we again, hey, we got maybe told one thing early on, is like, hey, the only way we can keep moving forward is we need brand new. We can't fix what we got.
Right.
We need brand new. So now we're going to move out of a building that the county still, right? That's county owned property.
it is. Yes,
Right.
county
So
paper.
look, you and I, Cori and Jamiroquan and Byron, we're all still on the hook. So just because the museum's not in the museum building does not equal we're off the hook for it. We still got maintenance, utilities, and insurance, right? Because building didn't go away.
So what is the building being used for?
Well, see, this is the issue.
Funny you would ask. We do, there are proposals out. What we believe the broad strokes is that MPM, which is the private nonprofit that is the steward, the vendor, the manager of our collections, they have a new museum that they're building. Right, this museum just
right across from where
the
Pfizer Forum is. Right.
I saw that.
Okay. So that's what's going up right there.
Okay.
Right. Now, me personally, that's really expensive land, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I think I would have been just happy enough with them staying where they were and fixing the building for $100 million.
Well,
versus...
so let me throw a couple more numbers at you. They sold the board in March of 22. They had sort of a special session. This had been brewing for years, right? This groundwork, to their credit, has been laid for years. But they told the board it would cost $250 million to fix the museum we have, right? 250, but it's only going to cost 240 to build a new museum, with one sort of caveat that I think we need to know. 45 million was pledged at that meeting to build that museum, but we're not going to own it. We are not going to own the new museum.
So
I don't know if everybody is aware of that. We own the collections, we own what's in the current museum, and we own the current museum, but we are going to be putting what they are going to be putting into a building we're not going to own.
So that means that y'all would lease it then?
No, where we are continuing to allow them to manage our collections, and we are going to pay them $1 million a year to do that for general maintenance, but they will be managing those collections, in theory, probably keeping the proceeds from those collections. We won't own that building.
So this is going to be a private building.
Wait,
Private building.
Right
Private
now it's a
nonprofit
public
private
building, right?
Right,
So
right.
you and I and Cori and
Right.
Jamiroquan, we all contribute toward keeping all these public buildings going, right?
Right.
Okay. So now we're going to have them move out of Milwaukee Public Museum as we know it today, right downtown.
Right downtown by the
Okay,
courthouse.
right downtown by the courthouse. Okay. So that's where it's been since 1962 or 63, right? We own that building. They're going to move out of that building to the new building across from Pfizer Forum.
So,
But that will be a privately owned
Owned
building.
okay, now listen to the numbers that you just gave me. You said that it would be 250 to build. I mean to
To
fix,
fix.
keep
to
what we have.
maintenance, but it's 240 to build from the ground. Now it sounds like it's a $10 million saving expense, but
That was before all the inflation. That was before
Right.
all the COVID stuff. All the cost for construction that has gone up.
right.
So you better believe that it will not be 240 no matter what happens.
So it's more. Yeah.
Now, I don't want to misrepresent. Our commitment is the 45, and
Right.
in fact, that has been greenlit, right?
Okay.
So our commitment is 45. The state is giving and has given 40 million.
Okay.
What's interesting about that is that the state is going to retain an ownership stake, and we were kind of getting into the weeds right away. But
So
this
the
is kind of
state has an
reality.
ownership,
State is gonna-
but we don't.
Right. So it's going to go from.
So wait a minute. Milwaukee
Public
County is going to put
Museum.
more money in the deal than the
Mhm.
state is going to put in, but the
Yes.
state's got an ownership.
They have an ownership. Let me get the language correct. They have an ownership stake in the event that the museum stops being a public museum,
Okay.
right? Okay. Now that's
If they
for
go
whatever
under.
reason. Either way, they have it, and we don't, and we have the.
But we're putting more
receipts.
money in.
Not only are we putting more money in, we're going to be providing ongoing maintenance for
Although
20
you
million,
said $1 million.
$1 million
Okay.
a year.
And on top of it, we own the collections.
True, and we can get into some of that definition. What's a collection? What's a non-collection? That's part. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it's a little tricky. I believe they're redefining what we own in a way that we need to be talking about. Let's
Okay.
just say we need public oversight.
So far, we've had a lot of conversation about money today, right?
Yeah.
And not knowing like where is the money going,
Where's the
right?
money?
Okay. So far it is we're putting more in. We got no ownership stake. They're going to redefine what collection is, so we may or may not own everything that's getting transferred over.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
All right. We're going to pay for maintenance on a building we don't own.
Right. In theory, we're paying for the, to help
The
support our
management.
collections, right? But
Right.
yes,
Right.
That's true.
But again, because
No
we
ownership
don't
stake.
own it.
Right.
So we really aren't in a position to change management if we don't like how it's being managed.
Yes.
Right. But we're going to give them money to manage it. We just don't have any say on who's managing it.
I'm not an attorney, but I have looked at what's called the financial management agreement. That was signed in December of 24. What's interesting about that is that it was not signed with the county board involved. The county executive signed it, and that committed the $20 million going forward.
Okay.
We can get into the details, but the broad strokes are the public is really being kept out of the Milwaukee Public Museum. In fact, it will no longer be the Milwaukee Public Museum.
That's right. They're changing the name
They're
even.
changing the name, coincidentally, to Wisconsin Museum of Nature and Culture. We're going to get a plaque, so that's awesome. And I think
You hear that, man? No, wait.
we are going
Jermaine, you're going to get a plaque,
Hold on, I
man.
We're
got
gonna get
something
a
for that. Hold on.
You got a plaque.
yeah,
There we go.
with their fine compliments.
There you.
In
They're
talking,
throwing that in. They're not going to charge us extra for the plaque.
that's gratis. So I know a lot about it, and I want to sort of make sure I give the broad strokes, but that is the concern: is the public is being kept out. The largest municipal museum in the world is being transferred. They say moving, but with very, very little public oversight. And I have done the work. I know that is kind of how they would like to keep it.
But Cori, what you're saying to us now is we're putting 45 in for capital, $45 million
Yes.
toward the building we don't own. Okay.
That's
so
true.
we got that. We're putting another 20 million in for management, right?
Over 20 years.
Okay.
Yes.
So far, Milwaukee is in for 100 or
No, 60
well, 65, 65, right?
Right.
Plus what the state's putting in, that is over 105, right?
Mhm.
105 million. And yet this is still going to end up being a private. It's still a nonprofit, but it still will
is.
be private. It will no longer be the public
Right.
in that same sense.
Right. And it's not even the private nonprofit that's the issue. They're supposed to be a steward. They're supposed to be a manager. And one would say, of course, they're the professionals. What we are concerned about is there is a great Thomas Sowell quote that says, it is not about what is best. It is about who gets to decide what is best.
Mhm.
And in this case, you have a group of people that would like to keep that decision between the Milwaukee County representatives and the MPM Inc. The public is not being allowed to understand what it is that is actually happening to, and I have pictures.
Okay.
So there's the visuals, right? So this is what we want to know. What is happening to this? What is happening to this?
Okay, wait. So just for the folks who, first of all, this is why we tell you, you really should be watching the show
Yes.
on YouTube or Facebook, because you can find it, WNOV, live stream. But this is one of those examples where
Yeah.
you got the pictures, right? So what you were showing are pictures of things like old Milwaukee, right?
The streets of old Milwaukee,
okay,
right? The European
right.
Village, right? What we know about the Milwaukee Public Museum is that the Milwaukee style was invented here. This is that immersive style where you walk in and you have the trees and the sounds and the cobblestone streets, and you feel like you're in a place. That is what is invented here. And then the murals on the walls behind the animals was invented in
and the
Milwaukee.
village,
Mhm.
as we understand it, now you correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
at least the controversy before was
Yeah.
that the village was not coming to the new, right? There was an issue about
Right.
whether or not that same immersive, that same
Yeah.
experience of getting into the old Milwaukee village would not necessarily be at the new
Yeah.
location.
We definitively know that the European Village is not coming. There's no question. The
Okay.
artifacts may be, and they're going to be displayed as they want to display them.
Yeah.
To their credit, MPM is offering us Milwaukee Revealed, which is the spiritual successor to the Streets of Old Milwaukee. So it's going to be a fraction of the size, and of course, it's going to be lovely. It's going
Wow.
to cover more years, but that's the nod to what.
Okay,
we
we're
have
going to come
our-
right back and
Yeah.
continue this conversation right after this break.
Thank you.
Family, this is Will Martin, and you're listening to The Difference, and we have been talking about money today. So much money flowing all these different places, from, like, we talked about MPS, and we've talked about childcare and the cost, and whether or not we can keep schools open to be able to take care of our kids. And now we're talking about the public museum, which sounding a lot less public, but with $105 million of public money.
Yeah.
So it seems a little confusing to me that we're moving from a public building to a private building, but we're still going to contribute $105 million to both the operations and the capital it takes to build.
Yeah.
So for folks, why should anybody care about this? Other than I'm already upset about the $105 million, but yeah.
Well, they should care because the streets of old Milwaukee is the collective history, what binds us together. Think about what kid has not gone through that experience?
Mm-hmm.
And we're being told that this experience is old-fashioned. This experience is in the past, and kids really want new experiences. They want screens. They want get something more exciting. And the streets of old Milwaukee has endured since it began. They've not had to change it, not because they haven't had the funds to do it, but because it has been so immersive and so popular, they haven't needed to.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line on that is what you have in charge of MPM is a woman named Dr. Ellen Sensky, and she may be a very fine person.
And just new too, right?
She's been there for
it's just
a while.
that's
yeah.
right. I'm sorry. The Milwaukee
Yeah.
Art Museum is the one that got
Right, she
a
just
new.
got changed, right?
Okay.
So she's the CEO, and all I would say is she basically wants to transform this museum. She feels that it needs to be reimagined and has publicly said, you're not going to walk into the same museum. And it's not about what is best. Is that what we want?
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to transform it according to cultural and political trends, right? And that is a concern. That is not only a concern for the people that have paid for this museum exhibit by exhibit, but also, is this your Milwaukee Public Museum?
Yeah.
It seems like we're transforming it into something else.
Wow.
And we need the public to say, transparency is not what you tell us about what you're doing. It's what we get to answer, what answers we get from you. And that's what we're not getting. They're very transparent about what they say they're doing.
We talked a little bit during the break
Yeah.
about transparency, and the fact is that you had to go through a public
did.
records request, open records request, right?
Yes.
In order to even get information on some of these elements.
I did. I'd love to show you some idea of what the new museum is going to look like. I mean, I think people need to realize it's
Mhm.
half the size of the one we have now.
Wait, it's half the size.
Half the size.
So Jermaine, I don't know how your math is, right? But how does it turn out? You got a building that's big enough to hold all of the collections,
all the beautiful things.
all the collections, right? And the idea is it would take you $250 million to be able to refurbish that building. Now, the new building that's only 240, but it's not going to be 240 because never is only 240. That one, though, is half the size.
It's half the size, yeah.
So you can't take all the collections because all the stuff they have accumulated over all this time won't fit in the new building.
Right.
So you're telling me you're going to spend almost $250 million, or probably more by the time the inflation is hit, for a building half the size.
That really makes no sense to me because all the stuff that's in the current museum, if you relocate it, something is not going to make it.
Yeah, there we go. And so
Yeah.
something's not going to make it, right? And what are you going to do with the stuff that's not going to make it?
Sell it?
Whose is that?
That's a good question.
Well,
Right.
Well, they actively can reclassify collections, which the collections belong to us,
Mhm.
as components. And it's not just the stuff that's in the museum on display. There's a bunch of stuff that's not on display underneath the museum that's probably worth millions of dollars that you can now reclassify as components and sell. And now those public dollars, those public entities become private investments, private dollars.
You know what this is?
It's a setup.
Fugaziness.
Yeah, it's a setup.
So here again, we're talking about, like, once again, we're putting the money up, but we don't get anything on the back end.
So we really want to raise the alarm. We've been raising the alarm since 23. So this is not a new effort.
Mhm.
It's just that it's getting accelerated. On September 2nd, MPM came to the Board of Supervisors at a meeting that was going to give the final disposition plan of what was going to happen. That meeting was put on the 2nd day after the holiday.
Okay.
And it was listed as the last item of the day. And Supervisor Wasserman said, we want you to have this private space so you can present. So what we need people to do is we need them to get a hold of their supervisors. You don't have to understand
county
all of it.
supervisor,
County
right?
supervisors.
Your elected county supervisor. Okay. And what do you want them to do when they get a hold of them?
I want them to ask they need to give us, they are our representatives, and they need to enforce the 2013 lease.
Okay.
And tell them we need an inventory. I want to know exactly what is going where.
See, this is another audit we're talking about.
You didn't design a $240 million building and not figure out what you were taking, what you were going to put to the scrap heap, and what you're going to put into storage. We want that inventory.
Okay.
They're telling us it's a Herculean task to get it to us, and we cannot accept that. That means they do not want the public to know what's going, what they're keeping, what they're defining as theirs, and what they're leaving for us.
Okay. So what else should people be telling their county supervisor?
They should be, that's it. You need to ask you have got to be our representatives.
Okay.
Or we don't like this direction. We don't want this vision. Go to our website, preservemke.org.
Okay.
There's a lot of information there.
What's that website again?
preservemke.org.
Okay.
And then we have a very, very active Facebook page.
And what are they going to see when they get to preservemke.org?
Just some of the articles and some hardcore, information, but also the Streets of Old Milwaukee Facebook page has 9,000 and 9,600 people that care about this, that actively talk. They're heartbroken.
Yeah.
People are heartbroken about this. Wouldn't you agree when you were talking with the
Absolutely.
public?
I was in the community talking to Black voters and people who use this museum often. And I was letting them know, hey, we're losing all of these exhibits because they feel like some of these are outdated and culturally inappropriate now, right? And so think about the native dioramas where you've got, right, that tells a story. It's Milwaukee,
Right.
it's telling the history
of the good land, right?
Right. This isn't racism. They're trying to insert their political beliefs into an institution that we've relied on for years. Everyone I spoke to remembers the field trips to the museum.
Wow.
And MPS used it often to give us something to do. Now you're stripping us away of this amazing resource to our community.
So you're telling me that Jermaine's kids got a chance to go as part of the field trip, but Byron's kids will not get a chance.
Yeah, and the museum that they go to is going to be smaller, and it's probably going to consist of less history and more political ideology.
It will consist.
Okay.
She is a
So
natural history.
people should go to the website, preservemke.org, learn more about the situation. They can also contact their county supervisor and demand that there be an inventory or an audit of what is going and what is staying and what's getting sold
That's what we have
off.
to have. That's going to reveal everything. There is one other website. It's savempm.org. That's got the documents. That's got the pictures. That's got the proof.
SaveMPM.org. I know I hear that music. And so that must be saying it's that time to go. Okay, well, until next week, peace out.